Is this one? Yeah, it's working. Good. Hooray. So this is the second story I'm going to tell you. So the first story I told you, the riots in Mumbai, I've told that story a lot. This story, which is called Kya Kaha Aotearoa, this is the first time I'm telling this story. So I do have some notes here, and I might refer to them, I might not, we'll see. So it's a new story. It didn't happen a very long time ago, but it started a very long time ago. When I was 11, we had an English lesson, and in that English lesson, we were taught about the country of New Zealand. And it was fascinating to me because I grew up, when I was 11, I was in boarding school in India. And it was this world far away, and there was something about the things that they described and the language. I found the language voluptuous. There were all these words. There were words like hangi, which is the food, a traditional food that is cooked in a pit with hot stones. There's a thing called hongi, which is a greeting in which you exchange breath. You touch noses and you exchange breath and you sort of belong to each other, which is fine. When I grew up, I was like, ooh, what do you do if you have a cold? But that's, when you're a child, you don't think about that shit. There's the concept of aroha, which is love, but it's more than just individual love. It's a love of life. It's a love of how you live, of how you approach the world. There's the concept of whanau, which is family, but more than family. It's tribe. It's the people you choose. It's the people who choose you. And all of these words just seem magical, and all the sense. And when I was 11, I thought, one day, I'll go to New Zealand. And I forgot about it. And I didn't forget, but I forgot about it. And then in 2016, I was touring with one of my shows, and I had the chance to go to New Zealand Fringe, which happens in Wellington. The year before that, I'd been in Australia with my show. I'd met some Kiwis there. They were doing a show. We got along really well. They were like, you should totally come to Wellington Fringe. It'll be amazing. And I was like, I've always wanted to do this since I was 11. I'm totally going. And I did. And I turned up there, and I knew more about Kiwis than I had known when I was 11. I'd met some actual real Kiwis. Most of them were white, but some of them were Samoan and Maori, and that was great. The first time I went there, my friend who had told me to come took me to a place called Lyall Bay in Wellington. And it's just beautiful. It's a bay. You can see the plains land, and you can see mountains and forests and all of the sea. And it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And the people are amazing, and they're hospitable and they're friendly. They're very chilled out. It's freaky. It is freaky because you can be at a restaurant sitting outside, and you can leave your bag and just take your wallet to go and pay, and nobody steals your bag. What the fuck is that? I don't get it. Obviously, I'm aware of the fact that not everything is hungry. Any country that has suffered the violence of colonization doesn't come away unscathed, right? There's socioeconomic differences there, there's problems. There's a lot of gangs. There are the main gangs are the Black Panthers and the Mongrel Mob. The Mongrel Mob, their leader is a guy called Sunny Fatu. He's an absolute sort of character, and he has the full tattoo, head to toe tattoos. His face is tattooed. I don't know why, if you're going to be in a criminal enterprise, you'd want to be so easily identifiable. Fuck, I don't know. He's very politically active as well. So there's all of that going on. There's also, like, their violence seems very tame to someone like me, okay? Because I was 12 years old when I read The Godfather, for example. I was a very poorly supervised child, it's fine. I grew up, I spent a lot of my childhood in Kashmir in northern India, and they've had 30 years of civil unrest. We've had terrorists in our house holding a gun to my uncle's head to extort money. You know, I went on a march with thousands of other people to stop an illegal war that we created, that we led, that has caused death and destruction for 10 million people. I was in London on July 7th, 2005. So to me, like, two gangs fighting and then having a sit down because one person died by mistake, it's pretty fucking tame. I mean, up your game, guys, if you want anyone to be scared of you. So we're there. There's somehow just being there, New Zealand, or Aotearoa as they call it, that's the Maori name for it, sort of became my spiritual home. And I loved it. And I went back every year with a new show, except in 2017 when I couldn't afford to go. It doesn't matter. Oh, no, 2018 I couldn't afford to go, but then I went back again. So in March, last month, I was in New Zealand with my last show. I was in Wellington, and I'd finished my shows. My shows finished by the 10th. It was great. I'd had a great time. The shows went well. And I was going to Dunedin Fringe at the end of the month, but I thought, usually when I'm touring a show, I do my show in a city, I'm there for the few days of the show, and then I'm off to the next place. And this time I'd gone, no, I'm going to stay. I'm going to see all the other shows. I'm going to go up to Paikakariki. I'm going to go off to the Wairarapa Hills. I'm going to do all this stuff. And then on Friday, the 15th of March, A white supremacist walked into a place of worship and he opened fire on a community of people on their most holy day while they gathered together in prayer. He was a stranger to the mosque, of course he was, but he was ushered in by an elder who welcomed him with the words, "Welcome, brother." Those were the last words that gentle old man ever said before this man shot him in cold blood. And he was just one of 50 people that this man ended up killing. I had a sense of devastation, and the reason was this. It felt like an innocent bystander had been caught in some sort of crossfire. There was a sense that they had been wounded for no reason at all. This place is gentle. It's not like the places I come from. It's not like the places I've lived. It's not like there's never been racism. Maori and Samoan and Polynesian communities have been talking about it for ages. Obviously, I don't know if we know about the Treaty of Waitangi, which the Brits totally fucked up, which is a thing they did all over their colonies. Like, oh, we're leaving. Just before we leave, here's a turd in the bath for you. Bye! Which is a thing. Anybody who's been colonized by the Brits knows this happens. It's a weird one for me because I'm a child of the colonies. I'm also a child of colonization. It's fucking nonsense. Anyway, but in the context of the rest of the world, I think the racism that was there was so low grade. It was just this kind of whiffling, piffling stuff, and people just thought, fuck it, we don't need to nip this in the bud. We can ignore it. And this is what happened. This is what ended up happening. I had no idea what would happen. But I was devastated because I knew that this is going to change this country in ways that they're not even aware of as yet. And for a while, my heart was hurting for them. And for a while, everything seemed to happen in slow motion, in a fog, like in a dream when you're running, but your feet are stuck in quicksand. There were weird sort of world snapshots. Fraser Anning, a senator in Australia, made a statement that said, well, if you hadn't had to have Muslim migration, this is what happens. What the fuck? Where did that come from? In the Mirror, there was a picture of this angelic boy. Newsnight over here had an interview that same fucking night with the leader of a white supremacist group. What is going on? It's like having one of the leaders of Al-Qaeda after 9/11 on an interview going, what do you think of this latest atrocity? It was horrendous. But in New Zealand, it was different. So I don't know how much of this you guys saw, but Jacinda Ardern, straight away, like banning the guns, calling the man a terrorist. In New Zealand, nowhere did they show this man's face. His face was blurred. His name was not taken. He was the criminal, the terrorist. That's all he was. I was treated to the bizarre and beautiful sight of Sani Fatu with all his fucking tattoos hugging an old Muslim man outside a mosque. These two most unlikely people to come together. The first thing that happened was that every mosque, the length and breadth of New Zealand, had a police guard outside. These Maori gangs, these people that you consider violent, these people that are outside the law, ringed the mosques and said, these are our Muslim whanau. We will guard them while they pray. All of the relatives who needed to come for the funerals, their visas were expedited within 24 hours. Jacinda Ardern said, we will pay for your funerals. We will pay for your families. For as long as you live here, we don't care what your immigration status is. You belong to us. You are our community. This man is not ours. It was weird. It was something I didn't understand. I'm so used to the binary of us and them. That's where I've existed. This was not a possibility to me. I went to a vigil, and in the vigil, there were like 11,000 people in the basin in Wellington. And all the people who spoke, except for the mayor of Wellington, who looks like a 12-year-old boy. I don't know if anybody's checked his ID, but he looks 12. Apparently he's 37. I don't know. But he was a white guy. The rest of everybody who spoke was a person of color, a community leader, Maori, Samoan, Muslim. And they opened parliament with the azan, which is the call to prayer. And I was iffy about that because I'm not for religion in places of government. I think religion and government are separate. But in that moment, they were having an emotional response. They had a day of hijab. Again, I'm not a fan. But you know, there are two types of hijab in the world. There is the hijab that women are forced to wear, and there is the hijab that women are not allowed to wear. And they are two completely different things that are born in the same place, the control and subjugation of women. And in that moment, it was just about women making an emotional response and saying, we stand by you. A random woman hugged me in the street and she said, I'm so sorry. And I was like, why are you saying sorry to me? Oh, you're a white woman, I'm a brown woman. Clearly, this has affected me. And you know, over here, I would have taken that as a microaggression and I would have thought, you're just assuming because I'm brown, I'm Muslim. But no, in that moment, that's not what it was. It was just a nation that was heartbroken and needed to express themselves somehow. It was kind of, there was graffiti saying, you know, Muslim fanao and fuck white supremacy. The whole conversation was not about anything else. It was about how did this happen here? How did we let this happen? And how can we ever stop this happening again? It was mind-blowing, and it still has a sort of dreamlike quality to me. The day before I left Wellington, I went down to Lyall Bay, and I was just sitting there. I just wanted to take in the sea and the air and the mountains and just feel it wash over me. I really didn't want to leave. I thought, do you think I can go to Wellington Immigration and just go, I really love you, can I stay? I don't think there's a box on the immigration form you can tick for that. But before we created borders to alienate ourselves from one another, that might have been an option, but not now. And I was just sitting on the wall staring out, and a man came walking past. I didn't know him. As he passed me, he called out, "Kia ora, friend." And I said, "Kia ora" back. And he stopped and we started chatting, just two strangers by the sea. Not a thing I would normally do, especially not with a strange man. And maybe not a thing he would normally do, but these were not normal times. Of course, we talked about the massacre. He'd been at the Basin Vigil too, so we'd already met in a way. We'd already been in the same place at the same time for the same purpose. He was part Maori, part Welsh, and he was sad, but also he was hopeful. And he said to me, "Don't be sad, friend. Kia kaha, be strong. We have aroha, love, and we will find a way to use this tragedy to bring us closer together and be better to one another." And I thought, I believe you. I think you might be able to do that. Can we, though, this far away at the other end of the world, do we have the capacity to do this? Even imagining that possibility is not easy. To be robust, kia kaha, to be strong, and to call things out, but also to do it with aroha, with love. Is that possible? Can we do it? We are love and we are hate, and we have grown so used to hate that we cease to question its existence. All we do is try to mitigate its effects. But there in New Zealand, they've released a kraken. And it's not fear or hate, it's love and compassion. Can we accept the possibility of aroha? I think we can. I think we have to try. And so I say to myself and to you and to everybody who wants to hear it, and even those who don't, aroha nui, kia kaha, kia kaha, kia kaha.